Okay, I'm not even really sure how to start except by saying mystical experience number 2 just happened. I wanted to get it down before I forgot about all the details because I think they're really important. I'm smiling because I just had a rush of adrenaline experience, which I'll get to. And I might look a little worse for wear because, yeah, I'll get to that part of the story too. Anyway. So Grace, Kathy, Kate, Carol, Peggy, and I, and Flo went down to a cave here in Scotland by the Rosslyn Chapel outside of Edinburgh. Well, part of Edinburgh anyway, that doesn't matter. It's a cave that's got carvings in it that are dated to be about 3,000 years old. And the forest is a real kind of like, I don't call it a medieval forest, but it's old. They've got like old growth trees that are 3,000 years old as well. And these are the things you can prove. So these aren't the mystical parts of it, but the energy lines here, whether it's in the earth, the cave, it's supposed to be around Rosslyn Chapel as well. They're incredibly powerful. And I didn't really realize that until I had this experience. So I'm just going to stand up a little bit. I'm getting cramped. So we're in the cave, and I'm just kind of taking pictures of the cave markings and cave drawings. And we decide that we're going to hook up the plant machine. Flo hooked up her plant machine, and the plants started toning and singing, which was amazing. And we all held hands in a circle around her silver bowl, or her singing bowl. And Kate led us in a Native American chant, and it was like the most powerful thing that had ever reverberated through my body. It's as though I found my voice in that cave. I felt just so connected, but also so powerful. And I was kind of directed to just put my hands above my head, and I was holding on to this particular part of the cave that I didn't realize until after the ceremony had finished was one of the few places on the cave where there was this sticky substance. The cave was pretty dry inside, except for where it was really damp and sticky. And it just happened to be where I had placed my hands. And I had a vision while we were closing our eyes and chanting that kind of similar to when I was in the angel seat at the chalice well, where everything started spinning around, the whole cave. I wasn't spinning, but the cave was spinning around me, kind of like one of those carnival rides, but the center stays still. And I saw a white owl. So the white owl was stationary as well. Even when the cave was spinning, the white owl was in flight, looking at me. And then the white owl disappeared. It was only the cave. And then I came back. I was there for the chant. I could feel it reverberating throughout my entire body, but especially my hands. My feet felt grounded. I just felt, I can't say like I had been there before, but I had been in this position before. And all the other women started doing breath work, but because I had woken up with a migraine, I didn't want to do too much of the, because I didn't want to get too lightheaded, because my migraine had totally disappeared while we were chanting in the cave. I had also taken some medication, so that's my disclaimer. Regardless, I got off track. Back to the cave. They were doing breath work. I was just standing ground and holding space with my arms out, kind of like this, both of them, like that. And I could feel their energy as I was just standing there and holding it, as though I had been in that position before. And then they began to stomp around, like little warrior goddesses, and they were stomping and stomping, and I just felt compelled to stand there. And normally I would join in because it's a wonderful ritualistic things you do with groups, and I love that with my sisters, but this time I just needed to stand still and hold the space. So we finished. I won't go into our sacred ceremony, but we finished, and I was leaving the cave, and this tree got my attention. Okay, so if you know me, you know that I'm not normally a tree hugger, but I've had a couple of experiences where nature has really taken on a whole different meaning, and I've had a whole different relationship with her since I've been here and a couple of other things, but the important thing I want to say is I followed my intuition and I went toward this tree. And I was communing with the tree, but not for very long, because when I looked to my left, I saw one of my sisters, Kate, down, moving quickly toward, not moving quickly, she had been stopped by a log, but she was skidding down toward what was a much deeper ravine. And I had just had a vision of that when I had left the cave. And I'll go back to also the vision I had for my future as a result of that experience in the cave. But let's get back to Kate and I. So I went down and I pulled her out. And my adrenaline was really spiking, and I know hers was too, but I got to tell you, it was a really powerful experience, that someone needed my help, in particular my help. And I'm not going to go into why that is, but it was really amazing that she gave me that opportunity to be of service right in that moment when I probably needed it the most. And, you know, afterwards, she just laughed. She just laughed and laughed the whole way up. There was no panic, no crying, just laughter and laughter the whole way back at the whole situation. It was just the most beautiful thing. She said, I just felt so free, and it was so fun to slide down that hill. And I thought, wow, okay, that is a huge lesson for you, Colleen, because you would have been panicked at the loss of control as soon as it started happening. And instead, Kate had a great time, like a child sliding down a playground slide. That is the other way to look at the situation. In either case, neither one of us would have had any control. And look at the different mindset and outcome it would have produced, or it does produce in both of our minds. Huge lesson for me. Huge lesson for me. And there were so many more just walking up that hill together. I can't even get into. I'm going to sign off now and journal the details. I just wanted to give you the broad strokes. But I am changed from this experience. I've never felt more grounded or more connected to everything, I think, in my whole life. And I've had some pretty amazing experiences in my life. I've been very lucky. So I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. The fire alarm in the old Scottish house is going off because I think breakfast just set it off. But that's the funny part about a spiritual experience, isn't it? You just never know what the hell's going to happen. I better go see what's going on. Bye.